Alright, for chapter 5, this is the first section, basic stuff, objective 84 to 85, mean, median, mode, and range. So let's take some the terms that you're going to need to understand in this section to get this going. We have the first one is mean, the quotient of the sum of several quantities and their numbers. So I've underlined some words here. Quotient, again, we're dividing. Sum is we're adding. So we have to add up our numbers first, divide by how many we have, and that's what the word quantities is. So however many you have, you'll divide by that number after you add them up. Second term, median, the middle number or middle value of a range of values. Now, in order to find the middle, you've got to have your numbers in order. So that's a must. So most of the time they're not rearranged in order, so you need to do that. So that's median. Mode, the number that is repeated more often than any other. So you're looking for the number that shows up the most. So that's why repeated is underlined. This one, not necessarily have to have it in order from least to greatest, but it always helps. Last term is range. It's the difference between the largest and the smallest number. So this one you would also probably want to have it in order from least to greatest, because then you can find your smaller number and your larger number. Again, you're just going to subtract it, largest minus small, and that's your answer. That's your range. So the terms for these are fairly easy: mean, median, mode, and range. Just got to keep track of what each of them stand for. And a few of the words have some other meanings to it that we'll talk about as we go through. So let's go through some examples. For our mean, this would also be known as the average. So if you ever hear anybody say, hey, find the average of these numbers, you're looking for the mean. So in our first example, we have our data in blue here. All you're going to do is take these, add them up, which gives us 100. There are 5 of them, so that's the quantity. So we took the sum. We are going to divide it by the quantity, which is 5, and our average for this one is 20. And that gives us kind of a middle area for the information that we're looking for. Example 2, again, we're given our data plots in blue. We're going to add them together, which gives us 540. We have 5 of those again, so that gives us 108 for our average. And that's where our number would, our value would fall in the middle or in the average of all those numbers. Our last example, number 3, again, we have only 3 numbers in this case. It adds up to be 278. We divide that by 3. This one does not come out even, so you have a couple choices depending on the directions. They can say round to the nearest tenth, round to the nearest whole number, or if it's a repeating decimal, set it up as that. So in my first example, the answer, I have 92.6 with a little bar over the 6. That just shows that the 6 is repeating. So if you're dividing or using a calculator, 92.66666, and it would just keep going. You could also round it to the nearest tenth, which means that would be 92.7, or we could round it to the nearest whole number, which would be 93. So that's mean. Add them up. How many do we have? Divide it by that, and that's your answer for that. Median, which is also known as the middle number. Again, you want to put your numbers in order for this. It makes it a little bit easier. Now, one of the things that you can do in this one is what I try and do is I start on the ends of it once I line them up, and then I just kind of cross out as I go in. So if I cross this one out, I cross this one out, I cross this one, I cross this one, and I just keep going, and I cross them out until I get to one number in the middle. So this is the middle number, so that's my median. That would be my answer. So I just start out here, cross these outer ones out, inner ones, and just keep working my way into the middle of that. And again, the middle one is what you're looking for. For our second example, if we cross them out, we cross here and this one. We cross this one with this one. We cross, let's see, 1, 2. This one here. Now we have 2 in the middle. So we would have to take these 2. We would have to take the average of these 2. So we would add 15 plus 17. That gives us 32. We divide it by 2 to give us 16. So it kind of goes back to the mean. So if you find that there's 2 in the middle, then you've got one here that you have to take both numbers, add them together, divide by 2. So a rule that you could follow, a couple of them, is if you have an odd amount of numbers, which is what we had up in the top example, number 1, it is going to be automatically in the middle. If you have an even amount, you would have to find the average of the 2 middle numbers. So you'd cross everything out, get to those 2 middle ones, find the average, and that's going to be the median for that example. So that is how you find mean and median. Our next set, our last 2 examples are mode. Mode is the one that shows up the most. You don't necessarily have to have it in order. It helps. But what you're looking for in your data set is which number shows up the most. You see it, we have 2 11s, but we have 3 15s. The 15 shows up the most. That's our mode. For example 2, we have our list of data points. We have 2 12s, 2 15s, but we have 4 9s. So 9 is our mode, which shows up the most. So mode is kind of the easiest of the terms that we're going through. Mean is kind of, or median is kind of the second easiest, and then the last one is kind of the third easiest, and mean, the average is going to be probably the hardest, just because you got to add up a lot of numbers. So our range is just the difference. It does help if you put them in order, because you can find the least and greatest number. You don't have to. So in example 1, I put these in order from least to greatest, showing that 4 is our smallest, 25 is our largest. So we take 25 minus 4, the range is 21. In example 2, I did not put them in order, so you kind of got to hunt through your numbers and find, well, I've got 23 is the lowest number, 31 is my highest, so in my problem it would be 31 minus 23. That would give us a total or a difference of 8. So that would be our range for that one. So mean, median, mode, range, not too difficult in concepts. It's just keeping the definitions of what these things are in this, and you should be able to fly through this section pretty simple. So thanks for watching, and make sure you bring your notes and ask questions.